So you should stick around, kids, because another episode of X-Play starts now.
I'm gonna watch.
Today on X-Play.
To stop bullying weak kids.
Simulated flights.
Where are you going?
Aging empires. And Mortal Kombat. Shake someone down for lunch money.
What are you talking about?
It's X-Play.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Adam Sessler. Morgan Webb.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Prepare to be reviewed. This is X-Play.
Heirs to a grim fortune, it's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Hello and welcome to X-Play, the people's choice for video game television.
Because it's pretty much your only choice. We prefer the Chinese model for democracy.
Because the pen may be mightier than the sword, but a tank is mightier than free speech.
Now, we do enjoy some kinds of free speech, though, like the kind that lets us provide you with brutally honest reviews of such games as Flight Simulator 10, giving us compelling insight into the official hobby of wealthy celebrities with death wishes. And Age of Empires 3, the Warchiefs, which lets us conquer nations with the native peoples of America in historically accurate fashion, except for the fact that they never actually won any wars against the Europeans.
And later in the show, we review a game from the makers of Grand Theft Auto. Bully lets you achieve academic success through violence and intimidation. Good old Richmond High.
We begin with one of the classic fighting franchises of yore. The games that taught us true success isn't measured by wealth or beauty, but by the ability to tear out another person's spine and show it to him or her. Here's Mortal Kombat Armageddon. All things must end. That's true of life, relationships, and yes, video game franchises. Alas, the time has come to bid farewell to one of the most well-known, Mortal Kombat. Think of Mortal Kombat Armageddon for the PS2 as kind of a memorial service of sorts. Just like those, this game will cause you moments of bitter-sweet nostalgia, as well as excruciating anguish. Mortal Kombat Armageddon brings together nearly every character in the franchise's history, from everyone's favorite spear-throwing undead ninja to less memorable characters like Meat. Apparently, the world has become saturated with Mortal Kombat warriors, and their collective power threatens to bring about the end of days. They therefore must come together for one final epic showdown to determine who among them is the most mortal and the most combat-y. Oh, and to that one fanboy out there perched on the edge of his seat nervously sweating, yes, you can play as Goro. In fact, if you're a Mortal Kombat fanatic, the amount of characters at your disposal is gonna blow your mind in much the same way that Sub-Zero blew people's minds in the first Mortal Kombat, by tearing them out with the spine still attached. That might be a good thing, seeing as how you'd have to be lobotomized to not realize that the actual fighting in this game is nothing spectacular. There's still all the blood and gore you've come to expect, but the big disappointment is gonna come in the redesigned fatality system.
Killer fatality.
What this title lacks in new era fighting game flash, it makes up for in crappy extras. Conquest Mode is a Shaolin monk-style action game that introduces half-god Taven on a quest that brings him into conflict with numerous members of the Mortal Kombat universe. The problem is, you're forced to play this in order to unlock various hidden extras in the game. Sorta like going to a family member's funeral and having to listen to your Aunt Pam reminisce about the 40s. I mean, you couldn't care less, but hey, it's her husband's funeral, what are you gonna do? Then there's this, Motor Combat. It's exactly what it looks like. That's a shame. There's a certain amount of reverence that has to be given when something you love is leaving. With that in mind, I give Mortal Kombat a 21 flaming Hell Skull salute. But Mortal Kombat Armageddon by itself gets a 2 out of 5.
You know, it's so sad to see something we once loved fall to such terrible depths. First Kathleen Turner, now this. The pain's too much. I will simply have to drink myself into a nostalgic slumber where I can remember Mortal Kombat 3 and V.A. Warshawski and forget anything has happened since then.
Oh God, he's talking about V.A. Warshawski. Once he gets into baby geniuses, he's gonna get violent. You guys better just watch this review of Flight Simulator 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts and return your tray tables to their full and upright positions. It's time to buzz the control tower Maverick style in Flight Simulator 10 for the PC. Placing the word simulator into a title might scare some gamers away, simply because a lot of the time, simulator means no fun. But Flight Simulator 10 is designed for pretty much anyone interested in flying, whether you're a veteran flyboy or a Middle Eastern guy who wants to fly but couldn't care less about learning to land. Flight Simulator 10 is packed full of missions that should keep would-be pilots flying the friendly skies for more hours than it takes to complete flight school. Everything from basic training missions
Great job taxiing.
to the slightly more daring.
You've flown near all the balloons. Congratulations.
As one might expect, this game has no shortage of flyable aircraft. Pilots get to try their hand at everything, from a seaplane to a helicopter and even a 747. Hot air balloons, I'm afraid, are only available to be abused, not flown.
That's one balloon. 2 more to go.
Although the beautifully rendered world of Flight Simulator makes this game incredibly realistic, the thing that's really going to cause turbulence in the lower altitudes of flight enthusiasts are the cockpit views. They're complete, accurate, and best of all, you can touch and use every instrument, button, and lever. It looks daunting, but pop-up icons explaining each item make figuring things out slightly less complicated than explaining the plot of Carnival. One of the coolest aspects of this game are the live weather updates, which give you the option of simulating the conditions at airports as they're happening. That means that if God decides to bring down his wrath on the good people in New Orleans, again, you can be there. I wouldn't land. With its balance between realistic and more novice-centered flight, accurate geographical renderings, and missions to keep you endlessly airborne, Flight Simulator 10 is likely to make the phrase, "This game is awesome," the last thing recorded by the black box in the brains of serious aspiring pilots everywhere. Flight Simulator 10 gets a 4.
You've flown near all the balloons. Congratulations.
Out of 5. When I first saw Flight Simulator 10, I read it as Flight Simulator X, which reads as a very different kind of game.
I think I'd like to play a black nationalist flight simulation game. You know, one where you learn the basics of small engine aircraft while realizing that the only answer to a violently racist white establishment is killing crackers.
We didn't land at LAX. LAX landed on us.
Well, not us, actually.
Okay.
Up next, Age of Empires. And later, Bully on X-Play.
You're dead, new kid! Doritos presents 2 new flavors. One sticks around, one's going down. Fight!
G4 is live from CES in Las Vegas.
Live from Comic-Con.
G4 is live.
Perfecting the secrets of molecular cooking, it's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. Now, if recent Kirsten Dunst movies have taught me anything, it's that the coolest kinds of governments are the creepiest. You know, anything that gives you vast overseas empires, cool new flavors of tea, and interesting stuffed birds to put on your hat probably oppresses loads of people who will eventually revolt and produce revolutionary flight simulators, but still, the imperial part is fun. Like in Age of Empires 3, the Warchiefs.
Sure, we stole their land, spread diseases, and destroyed their culture all in the name of manifest destiny. But hey, isn't it time to let bygones be bygones? Besides, now the Native Americans have been given something far more valuable than land, health, or culture. Their very own expansion pack.
We're gonna get rich. And you can be a part of it.
Age of Empires 3, the Warchiefs, is an expansion pack for the already excellent Age of Empires 3. It offers new scenarios, new territories, and 3 new playable Native American tribes. Choose from the proud Iroquois, the fierce Sioux, or the versatile and surprisingly roomy Aztec. The Native American tribes play a lot like their European counterparts with a few key differences, namely the addition of the Warchiefs. Whoa, what was in that teepee? The Warchiefs, or is it Chiefs, are stronger and in many cases are more agile than the Europeans. Plus, they have the ability to befriend and control animals, so you can head into battle with a pack of bears at your side. Wow, imagine being friends with a bear. How cool would that be?
Yeah, what up, bear?
Awesome. Don't worry, the Europeans haven't been left out in the cold with this expansion pack. They get a new building as well as some new and improved units, which allow you to destroy the enemy like never before. Oops, somebody call the queen, we're gonna need more troops. Even with all of the improvements, one constant remains. Life in colonial America is hard.
And bring back the supplies we need.
Skirmish mode isn't. Weak AI makes this part of the game a bit too easy, but hey, no one ever accused Europeans of being tough. The trade monopoly victory gives players a new way to win simply by controlling the trade in a territory. Of course, that means you can lose in a new way too. Well, you know what they always say, if you can't beat them, drive a horse-drawn carriage full of explosives into them. That's what I'm talking about. The problem with a lot of expansion packs is that there's not enough new content to justify the purchase price. But we're convinced that's not the case here. Age of Empires 3: The Warchiefs gets a 4 out of 5.
I like the way they made dancing a way of improving your chances in battle. It's a compelling homage to the celebrity dance-off craze of 2005.
Yes, but we all know the recreational activity most likely to improve your chances in battle is binge drinking. And speaking of binge drinking activities, you can always watch any of our reviews on your iPod. So head over to g4tv.com/podcast, or you can just find XPlay on iTunes. It's so easy.
In a moment, how they get a game.
Oh, Bode!
And later, Bully on XPlay.
Stop bullying weak kids.
All his life, he had a gift.
You see things before they happen.
And don't forget to text your choice to 77888.
Hail Bacchus. It's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to XPlay. Now, there are games that were always clearly a bad idea. 2 That's So Raven games. So we've started a new feature on the show where we ask the key question about these titles in yet another edition of XPlay Investigates.
XPlay Investigates. Some people don't deserve a game.
Today, XPlay investigates that notoriously nefarious pursuit known as cheap spin-off gaming. It seems these days that everybody and everything gets a game. What's next, a Capital One game? Oh, I better just keep my mouth shut. Exhibit A, Bode Miller Alpine Skiing. It looks like crap, feels like crap, it's unoriginal, and just plain beef. Do we really want to give this guy a game?
Hey, kids. You paid for the seat when you'll only need the edge. It's Miller time with Bode.
This is sports drink. Hey, kids, sorry about that, but you know Uncle Bode. Uncle Bode's independent, outspoken, and real! Anyway, I love you little bros and broettes. Unless you grow up to pursue careers as those blind, deaf, and dumb, bile-secreting, syphilitic, pus-sucking whores known as the media. They tell lies about Bode. I love you little lift loungers, though. Okay, now it's time for Bode to take your calls.
Miller time.
Okay, our first caller is Darjeep Smith of Akron, Ohio.
Bode, how are you tomorrow? To answer your question, yes, there are better ways to turn off your computer than throwing it out the window. Call me.
Okay, kids, our next caller is named Red Stifler. He's 34 years old, and he's from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Hi, Bode. I live with my mom, and I lack the confidence to even tickle my jewels to a Pam Anderson poster. What do I do?
Well, Red, let Bode tell you a little story about himself and his planet of tranquility.
A place I like to fuel my sense of Bode-pendence is my home state of New Hampshire. Bode likes to canoodle and commune with nature. Brody's friends are the animals. They love Bode, and he loves them. I hope that helps, Red. Well, my little Bodinis, that's all for today. Bode needs to steep his Bode berries in some cool natural New Hampshire toilet water and toss back an old brown trout. Until next time, Bode Miller.
That man is an icon of extreme sporting.
Skiing games are never good. There are certain sporting endeavors which may present convenient licensing options, but are just never going to be fun. While certain other games that aren't so high profile, we never actually see virtual versions of.
Are you still pissed off we haven't seen an extreme curling title?
The men and women of North Central Minnesota are amazing athletes. They deserve recognition.
Who are they?
I forget.
Bully is up after the break.
You want to run this school? I want to run this school. Only one of us is going to make it.
Dude, it's 420. AOTS heads to Amsterdam. X plays trippiest games. And the Big Lebowski.
Susu, it's Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. Since Grand Theft Auto 3 got the world excited about killing Japanese businessmen, activist moms and lawyers without a client base have been complaining about how games encourage nefarious behavior, which just isn't true. Only good games encourage illicit behavior. There are lots of horrible games that try to teach us to be wonderful human beings and to manage our mining resources efficiently.
But Rockstar, the publisher behind the Grand Theft Auto series, has just released a game full of enough crime, disobedience to authority, and low-intensity game makeouts to keep Jack Thompson in a dizzy for a few more years. So here is our review of Bully.
Educating the young mind is a sacred thing. We honor the influence of history's great teachers. Socrates, Jaime Escalante, Professor Xavier, Mr. Cotter. Now we can add Rockstar Games to that long and illustrious list.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and morons, I give you...
Bully. Bully brings the Grand Theft Auto gameplay style to the upper-class New Englander tradition of shipping your children off to preparatory school so you only have to look at them at Christmas. Bullworth Academy emphasizes nasal hygiene.
Remember, you will have a clean nose, so keep it clean, or we'll clean it for you.
That may be a problem for our old sour McBaldy. Jimmy is your social miscreant in training, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to climb to the top of the Academy's dog pile.
I'm great!
Vandalizing, fighting, trespassing, truancy, violating curfew, not adhering to the dress code. Hey, someone told me this game was going to turn kids into ultra-violent droogs. You mean whoever said that might have been grossly exaggerating? Oh, I'm shocked. And I demand ultra-violent droogs. Bully is more about fighting against bullying than it is being a bully. The objects of your rage are often deserving of the playground rhinoplasty you so readily dish out.
I want you to stop bullying weak kids.
Of course, that doesn't mean you have to stop picking on the little guy altogether. Aside from Jimmy's antisocial work, he also attends class. For the first time in my life, I can actually beat chemistry. The minigames on your syllabus are addictive and brimming with variety. Who doesn't want to peg a jock in the face with a dodgeball? Plus, Bully's student body is fully staffed with impeccable voice acting.
What are you talking about? Don't play innocent with me. You want to run this school? I want to run this school.
While Bully may not have the square mileage of games like San Andreas, the depth of the world more than makes up for it. The seasons change. The halls are populated with individual students, not the same 3 generic character models. And the shifting relationships of the characters really make Bullworth Academy come to life.
Then we can kiss. The cold sores aren't contagious once they start to scab over.
Herpes simplex too. You bring back the memories. The extracurricular pranks and missions Jimmy takes on have even more variety than your class schedule. From running errands for a sexy cafeteria lady to returning RPG character sheets to their rightful nerds.
Role-playing is the high point of human achievement.
Oh yeah? Take a look at this and tell me if you still believe that.
Attack the master!
Bully immerses you in the life of a student at the most hardcore school on the eastern seaboard. The level of detail and attention to character is staggering. It may sound like a lie your parents told you, but school is actually fun. Bully graduates with honors and 5 wedgies out of 5.
What if I'm confused? Major luck.
5 out of 5, folks. We're in the 4th quarter of the year, and that means it's all good times and A-list titles until Hanu Kwanzmas.
That Hopkins kid sure is a nefarious, violent, profane oaf. Maybe in love a little bit.
Okay, and now let's all fall in love with the X-Play replay.
Mortal Kombat got a 2 out of 5 because the once great franchise has fallen on hard times.
Flight Simulator 10 got a 4 out of 5 because its balance between realistic flying and easy controls means we can pretend to die just like our favorite political, music, and sports stars.
Age of Empires 3, the Warchiefs, got a 4 out of 5 for giving us a chance to get back at the white man for all he did to America's First Nations.
And Bully got a 5 out of 5 because it's a hell of a lot of fun to play.
Yes. And now it's time to hear what you guys have to say.
Today's viewer mail comes from Christy. She writes, if you can, please review Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess for me and all of us video game fanatics. Thanks.
Sure, Christy, we will. As soon as we can, because you see the game hasn't come out yet. But we are going to do extensive coverage of all of the Wii games, so as soon as they come out, you're going to be able to get a review. But we can't review something until it's released, because see, it's not done.
Or we could get into a time machine, go forward, review it, come back and say it.
But wouldn't that spoil the fun of the whole thing?
Exactly. Now, what would happen, though, if we didn't review the game? They'd have to go play it for themselves and find out.
We won't review Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, and for your next question, Christy, come to g4tv.com/xplay. Send us a video viewer mail. Excuse me. That way, we can get a look at you before we answer your question.
We promise we'll be nice.
Okay.
This episode was of a show called X-Play. See you next time.